M0FXB, welcome back to the channel. Today, let's talk about hotspots. The amount of people that message me and say, hotspots are not real radio. There's no RF involved. So let's go back to, let's just talk about a repeater, okay? So what is a repeater? It's a radio device that retransmits your signal on a hill. So you're at home, you've got your radio, you key the mic, you want to get onto, we're going to have to talk digital if we're going to talk hotspots. So you want to get onto DMR or Fusion, you get your radio, you key the mic, it transmits your signal to the hill, to the repeater, which retransmits. Now how does that repeater connect to the digital mode? How does it connect to DMR? How does it connect to D-Star and Fusion? It's connected to an MMDVM board, which then connects to the internet. So, okay, there is RF between you and, say, a few miles away, which eventually becomes digital when it's now no longer real radio, as they say, okay? What a hotspot does exactly the same thing, but the only difference is that you are transmitting a shorter range because your hotspot is probably in your shack, so it might be 1, 2, 3, 4 foot away from you. And I get it that the range is further, but you are still supposedly not real radio. So I say to anyone that has especially a DMR radio, which you can buy so inexpensively now, get a hotspot. And there's so many. I recommend actually the Pi-Star system. You've got the open spot, which works well. They are quite expensive, £300–400 for an open spot. You can see me here just walking around with my gimbal. I'm actually holding a gimbal here, which tracks me. If I just press a little button, it actually starts to track me. Anyway, so I recommend get yourself a Pi-Star hotspot. If you're not too confident about using a Pi-Star hotspot, then watch lots of videos, drop me a message. What is Pi-Star? It's a control panel for an MMDVM hotspot. Let's watch Mazzy run here. You ready to watch Mazzy run? Go on, Maz. Where is she? She'll start barking now. Once I throw something once, she'll be barking. So Pi-Star basically controls your MMDVM board. You've got open spot 3, open spot 4, and the thing about an open spot 3 and 4 is the 4 plus, it can cross mode. So what does that mean? It will link D-Star to DMR or Fusion. You are quite lucky with a Pi-Star hotspot. You can buy an MMDVM board, and a Pi-Zero and assemble it yourself for about £60 at the most, with a case, I would say. And it does actually cross mode DMR and Fusion. A lot of people don't realize that. People that have got their Pi-Star hotspots. If you're on a DMR radio and you want to talk to YSF Fusion stations, you can do that. You can't speak to every single one, but you can speak to more than you'll ever use. And so the next thing is, when I'm using my hotspot, you want to see Mazzy? Let's see, go around here like so. Mazzy, where are you gone? Watch this, see if I can just find, right, Mazzy, what we're going to do, we're going to make her bring it to me. She's sort of behind me. Mazzy, bring it. Mazzy, bring it. Watch this. No, I said bring it. Bring it, I said. Mazzy, come on, be a good girl. Bring it. Mazzy, bring it. Bring it. Look at that. No, she virtually will put it in my hand. If I'm on a table, she'll actually put it on a table. Here it goes. She's off. She's a lovely dog. She's only about 3. Anyway, so back to hotspots. So what do I use? Well, if I'm on D-Star, I use Reflector 1 Charlie, I use 30 Charlie, and I might go into HubNet, which I tend to listen to on my All-Star node. What's an All-Star node? It's basically a radio that is linked to the internet, but you are actually communicating to an actual radio with another radio. Okay, so getting another radio that's talking to the radio that's inside your All-Star node, which is connected to the internet using the All-Star system. So these are all gadgets that have completely transformed my hobby. Yeah, without my All-Star node, without HubNet, I would get so bored. I mean, it's just normal people from all backgrounds, whether it's CB, ham radio, scanner enthusiasts, you name it, they're all there. Right, going back from the 60s and 70s, where most of us got interested in ham radio because we watched movies like, what was that trucker movie? Oh, someone remind me. I've watched it a million times. Or we watched Starsky and Hutch and we saw them in their cars, you know, talking on their radio. Or in the UK, we watched The Professionals and they all had the radios and the gadgets. You know, we all got hooked in mainly American, I would say, television. We all got hooked, and then we went out and got our CBs when it was AM, then FM, and then eventually we got fed up with the AM and the FM, you know, too much bad behavior, and we went and got a ham radio license. I actually got my radio license because I purchased a Yaesu FT101ZD. Isn't that 70s HF radio? I didn't know how to use it. I didn't have a license. And when I looked into it, and we had the internet then, I thought, oh my God, I've got to get a license. And I was really busy at the time. I was working long hours. But my gut feeling said, no, do your license. And I had a friend at work and I said to him, and he was a bit techie, but not radio tech. And I said, oh, come on, come with me to do this license, yeah? And we did it in Weston-super-Mare where I live, Southwest UK. And we both passed our foundation, and my life changed for the better. But I tell you what, when I was just sat there listening to a repeater and a bit of HF, it got boring. But the second I got myself a hotspot, and it was Harry Paul from Zello who said to me, get yourself a hotspot. And he was so right, that once I realized I had this, it's basically like having your own repeater on your desk. It's this big, yeah, it's like, and it's like having like I keep saying it, like having your own repeater on your desk. Suddenly I could get onto DMR, D-Star Fusion. Well, I had a DMR radio in my cupboard that I hadn't touched for 6 months because, yeah, I loaded a code plug on it. Code plug is basically software with lots of channels. Yeah, used it a couple of times, but I got bored of it. But the second I could use it, and I could choose easily where my connection was going to be, Brandmeister, Phoenix, all that kind of stuff, all these different servers that are hosting these different talk groups and rooms. I was hooked. And even when I first got my Retovis RT3S or MDUV380, which I love, I think they're brilliant sets, the fact that I could program it on my PC and then send all the channels and talk groups and frequencies, whether it's analog or digital, just sat at my computer, I found that completely gadget heaven, that I could just program this radio and make it look completely different than when I received it. If you look at the OpenGD77 system, and one radio that I really say you should get is the Bofung DM1701, £40 delivered. Usually they come pre-configured with OpenGD77. You can talk to satellites, they track satellites, it adds the Doppler shift for you, the VHF transmit, UHF receive. Amazing, for £40. And then, so that brings you on to, oh, I don't need this radio, I don't need that radio, I've got enough radios. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Like, if you've got 10 different radios, you will have 10 different types of enjoyment, honestly, and each radio is different. They're programmed differently, they sound different when you talk to people. And when you speak to a ham operator, what's the first thing they say to you? You know, apart from call sign, they'll say to you, what radio are you using? Do you really want to just turn around and say to them the same radio every time for 20, 30, 40 years? Mazzy, let's see if we can get her to bring it. No, having variety. And also HF radios have become so cheap. I just bought that Zygu G106, £200, £199 delivered now. They're all selling them now. And it's a fantastic little HF radio, just as good as any other HF radio I've got. They've kept it simple, but I tell you what, check it out, my Zygu G106. I'm blown away by how good it is. It's got a black and white screen, but it reminds me of my 7100. Mazzy, bring it. Bring it. Come on. Bring it. Be a good girl. Bring it. Come on. Mazzy, bring it. Be a good girl. Bring it here. Mazzy, bring it. Come on. Bring it here. Bring it here. Mazzy, bring it. No, bring it. Bring it. Watch, watch. Do you see that? Come on. How amazing is she? She's just a lush dog. Right, Mazzy, here goes. You know, we can actually make this wheel rotate. Here goes. Go on then. She is absolutely lush. I've got a cat, 2 cats, and a dog, and I absolutely love them. I've got teenagers. I do love my teenagers, but they don't leave home, and they become very expensive. Anyway, so I'm just going to give you a quick circle because I am here at home. I'm very lucky and blessed to live in this house. We'll do a quick circle, and this is where I fly my drones, like so. And we are using this gimbal, which we can rotate, like so. I'm pretty sure I can flip it if I press a